Hi, and welcome to our Facebook Friday. We will go live here actually we are live, but we will get started in just a second. We are going to be using today this beautiful paper called the Beautiful Gallery Designer Series paper, and I think you could just frame this paper and not do anything else with it. And it's just so pretty. But basically, hey, Tammy, I just saw you on here. But this paper is just gorgeous. On both sides, you can see some of these patterns. But this is what we're going to be using in our cards tonight. Some of the back sides of this are so pretty. They're just kind of subtle. But perfect for backgrounds on your cards and just really, really pretty. And then this one, we're actually using this blue one tonight. And then the back side of this has like a, I don't know, almost like a gray with trees. That's really pretty. And then let's see what else. We have this one that's like a meadow that's super pretty. And then another one with some ships. We're going to be using that one as well. And then I love this green one. We're not going to be using it tonight, but it makes up really pretty. Just to let you see the entire thing. Here it is, right here. And this, you know, you can cut this, and you could even cut this in half and use it on 2 different cards. But very pretty. So I love this paper. I just think it's gorgeous. There's another one with like a farmhouse in there with a really pretty pattern on the back. And I think that's the last one. It is. So this is what we're going to be using tonight in our cards. And I am going to be combining that with this stamp set called The Right Words. I really like this. It's a little different than some of the other stuff that we've used, but just walking through them, the stamps say, "But just know how much I love and care about you, sending good vibes to someone worth celebrating every single day. Thanks so much for thinking of me. Happy birthday. You're so kind. I wish I had the right words for a time like this. I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you." Just the phrase "a lot." Hoping the loss you feel right now will be eased by wonderful memories. Thinking of you, forever loved, forever remembered. I miss you already, and I really don't like that you're leaving, but I hope you love where you're going. So this is really good for sympathy cards. It's even got a happy birthday, but thinking of you, just different type cards like that, which is kind of nice to have sometimes. So with that said, at the end, I will go through a few things that I have going on right now. If you are already listening, thanks, Tammy, then I am having a sizzling summer special through the end of August, where anything that you order from me, starting at $50, you will get bonus items added to your card kit that I send you. So the card kit that we are doing tonight is 3 cards, and you can get these free with a $35 or more order. If your order is $50 or more, I will also include an embellishment of your choice, and I will contact you once I see your order go through with the email address that you use to find out which embellishment you would like. If your order is $75 or more, I will send you a ribbon and an embellishment. And if it's $100 or more, I will send you a stamp set. So that is our sizzling summer special. So I will go over that again at the end. If you would like to place an order from me, you can use this QR code. And if you want to get on my email list, please go to inkycreationsbylinda.com, and you can join my email list, and it will notify you of specials and card kits and exciting things that are being offered. All right, so let's get started with our first card. our first card uses a white card base that is kind of fun. White can sometimes be a little bit dull, but boy, when you combine it with this paper, it's just beautiful. So we have a white card base that is just 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then you will have a piece of Secret C, which is probably one of my new favorite colors. It's one of our in colors this year. And then you will have this designer series paper already cut for you. So let's adhere these together. I hope you guys have had a nice week. It is certainly starting to get warm and toasty here. I was in my car earlier today and the thermostat read 99, and that was, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock. So if we didn't hit 100 today, I would be really surprised, because it usually is a little cooler earlier in the day, and usually around 4 o'clock is whenever we hit our peak temperature. So if it was 99 at 1, I'm quite sure we probably hit 100. But we've been really fortunate so far this year. We've had a lot of humidity, more so than normal. And then we're just going to adhere this to the card front. All right. But we've been very fortunate this year. It has not been near as hot as it usually is, because we are almost at the end of July, and I don't think we've had any 100-degree days yet. We may have had one today, but that would probably be the first one, which is amazing. Usually by this time, we're having them every single day. All right, so this is our card front, and then you're going to have 2 die cuts, both from Cloud Cover. These come from the Textured Notes dies, and we're going to glue the first one down just right here in the upper left corner. And so you'll just use regular adhesive. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of glue back there. And we will glue that flat. You know, this Cloud Cover just goes so well with the Secret C. It's really pretty. And then on the smaller one, we're actually going to stamp Happy Birthday. All right, so let me grab my Secret C ink. And if you don't have this, you could probably use black. But I think the Secret C is so pretty, and it really kind of matches what we're doing. So, see if I can get this straight. I always find that when I'm on video, I'm like making my head go in all kinds of different directions. Timmy, how hot has it been where you guys are? Has it been kind of cool? Probably not, because I think it's been hot everywhere. And then I'm going, oh, I just saw your message. Yeah, everybody's gotten a lot of rain this year, that's for sure. I'm going to use dimensionals to pop this up, and I'm only going to put the dimensionals on the 2 sides so that I can tuck this die cut leaf down inside of here. So let's grab a couple of dimensionals. Let's see. Put these off to the side. There we go. And then we're just going to center this in the middle of this other die cut that was on there. And then I'm going to take this and kind of put this down in here. I probably should have moved this whole label down a little bit. So I'm going to trim my leaf just a little so that it doesn't go over the top of the card. So we're going to, whoops, kind of have this go like this. Okay, so I'm going to use some glue dots on this. And we'll just put a couple of glue dots on here. Yeah, I just saw your message that it's been hot. Is it really humid where you are, or is it just hot? Although, I guess heat is heat, but I don't know. I would rather a dry heat any day than humidity. All right. So then we're just going to kind of tuck this, down in here a little bit. And you can kind of leave the top one over that if you'd like, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then we're going to use our Secret C ribbon. And by the way, if you place an order with me and I send you the card kit, I will include enough ribbon and embellishments for you to be able to make your cards exactly like what you're seeing here. So you can order additional ribbon or embellishments if you'd like, but you will have enough to make your cards, which is kind of nice. So let me make this a little smaller. Here we go. And cut this off right here. And let me grab a glue dot to adhere the bow to our card front. And so I am just going to kind of put this on the corner of our happy birthday. And then for the embellishments, I am using these that are called the pressed flower motifs. And these are kind of neat. They're they're a little bit heavy, but they're almost like a copper color, just a little bit rustic. So we're going to use these today because I think they're really pretty and they kind of fit the motif of just kind of nature and natural and all that good stuff. So we'll put a couple more on here, maybe one right there. There we go. All right, so this, and let's go ahead and stamp the inside. If you have like a flower stamp or something, you could probably put that down here in the corner or something. But on this one, I'm just going to stamp the sentiment because I kind of want to leave room to write. And so we are going to use the stamp that says, "To someone worth celebrating every single day." Timmy, I don't know if you have gotten any of our in color ribbons, but I really like the way these tie and make bows. They're really easy to work with. So, and I'm using the Secret C one today, but of course we have them in all of the different in colors. So that makes it kind of nice. All right, so here we go. Here is card number 1, which is kind of fun. Happy birthday. All right, so let's do our second card. And I am going to be using a different ink pad this time. So this one also uses a white card base, but it is one that is going to, let me move this stuff so I don't have it flip everywhere, that is going to flip up. So it's going to be a portrait card instead of a landscape. Well, I guess, well, the last one we did was landscape. So you will have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 embossed white cardstock in your kit. And I am going to go ahead and adhere that to the front. This is using the plaster painting embossing folder. And I think that one's probably one of my favorite embossing folders. It's so pretty and just really versatile. Kind of reminds me of like artistry and things like that. So it's kind of fun. So we're going to glue that down to the front of our card base. And then you will have these two pieces of DSP, and both of these come from the Gallery Blooms set or designer series paper. So one is the one with the little damask things on it, and the other one is like a meadow with a lot of your blues and Lost Lagoons. So we are going to put these to where they are kind of catty-corner to each other, and so we're going to do that. Yeah, I love the strawberry slush. It's probably one of my favorite colors next to the Secret Sea. All right, so let me just put a little bit of glue on here and put these down on top of each other. And then we will adhere these to our card front. So I am going to just angle this slightly so that it kind of, you can see both of the designer series papers, but obviously you can't see as much of the back one as you can the front. And then we are going to adhere this to our card base, kind of like this. All right, so let me use dimensionals to pop these up. So and just put a few so that you don't have to watch me peel dimensionals all day. Are you the kind of person that likes a lot of dimensionals or a few? I think for me, it really just kind of depends on what I'm working on and how crazy I feel at the time, I guess. All right, so there we go. So we're just going to pop that up to give it a little bit of dimension. And then you will have a piece of white scrap. It may not be quite this big, but it will be something for you to stamp the words "thinking of you." So we're going to use Lost Lagoon ink and stamp that on here. All right, and then I am going to kind of trim this, and you can either use your cutter or you can freehand it. I'm actually going to freehand this one and hope that it comes out the way I need it to. This one's a little bit thick just because of the nature of the font at the beginning of that word. And then on this side, I'm going to trim it like this so that we can get that. So before I adhere this onto the card, I am going to use some Stampin' Seal on the back, or you could use double-sided tape. And we're going to use this so that we can put some linen thread down on here and kind of use this as our pattern to kind of make a bow. If I can get that to go back in. So let me grab my linen thread. So the way we're going to do this, which is kind of fun, is you're just going to put a little bit down and then kind of use your finger and cross it over, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then we can trim this part. I'm going to make it a little bit long, and then that way I can trim it shorter. But then whenever you flip it over, it looks like you made a bow behind there, and all you did was just kind of shape it. So now what we're going to do, since we like the way it looks, is we're going to use our dimensionals to go ahead and pop this up. And I'm going to put a dimensional on top of the linen thread just to kind of hold it in place. And then we'll trim it once we put it down on the card. I just don't want to trim it before then. So now on your card, we're going to kind of put this down toward the bottom, because that way it doesn't cover up our picture that we have on the card that's so pretty from our designer series paper. Okay, so we'll take our snips and just kind of trim that a little bit. And then let's use our pressed flower embellishments again. And this time, I think we'll put a big one down here, and then maybe a couple up here. All right, so for the inside of our card, we are going, you will have all of this in your card kit. I really love this Lost Lagoon paper. So this one is actually another one of the papers that was in the designer series paper pack. And so before we adhere these together, I do want to go ahead and do my stamping in case I mess up, because that does happen sometimes. So I'm going to use my Lost Lagoon ink, and on the back, or on the inside rather, I'm going to write, "Hoping the loss you feel right now will be eased by wonderful memories." That's a really pretty saying. There we go. Close this up so I don't stick my finger in it, because I have been known to do that once or twice. All right, so let's go ahead and put some glue on this. And I always, whenever I'm putting glue on white cardstock that's going to be showing like this and be written on, I try to just put it on the edges and not put it all through the middle, because you can see the streaks sometimes. So that's why I just put it on the edges right here. Now, if it's solid, I don't find that that happens as much, but for the white, it does. So that's why I tend to just do that. All right, so here I'm going to throw some glue on this and put this on the inside of our card base. Try to get that centered. There we go. And then you will have this last piece of designer series paper, and we are going to adhere that to the bottom of the inside. I love this paper, this designer series paper, because it's really hard to make an ugly card when you're using this beautiful paper. So, and I don't think any of our cards are ugly anyway, but it's always nice whenever you can do that. So this is card number 2. So at the end, you'll have to let me know which one you like the best. And then if you would like the card kit for this, you can place an order for $35 or more, and I will send that to you. All right. So here is our final card. We are going to be using a crumb cake card base on this one. And then we will be using one of the new embossing folders that we have is this damask that's really pretty. And so we're going to be using that on the cloud cover card base that we're doing on this one. And then we'll have the scene that has the ships in it. I think this is so pretty. And we'll be doing that. Okay. So, and then, yeah, I think that's it. All right. So let's go ahead. And the first thing that we're going to do is adhere our piece of embossed damask onto the card front. Here we go. All right, so we're just going to glue that flat. And then now, before we glue this piece down to here, I want to put these together, and then we're going to wrap some ribbon around this. So I'm going to glue my designer series paper down to the white. And this one just leaves a small border, whoops, around all the sides. This is why I like using the liquid glue, because it gives me a minute to adjust if I mess up. And then we're going to use our Secret C ribbon again and bring this in. And this time we're going to wrap this around probably about right there. And so I'm going to put, you can either use Stampin' Seal or you can use double-sided tape, whatever you would like to use. I am just going to use Stampin' Seal this time. Sometimes I do use the double-sided tape. It really just kind of depends on, I don't know, what I'm doing and all of that good stuff. So I am just going to press this to the back, and then I will bring it around and press it down here, and then I'll go ahead and trim it. And now I am going to use dimensionals and put on here, and then put it kind of toward the top part of this cloud cover. So let's grab some dimensionals. And one of the things I always do is I do put dimensionals on top of where my ribbon meets the paper, just to keep it from shifting. Whoops, and try not to catch it with your finger. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Put one in the corner, put one more down here, and then we'll just put our normal amount up at the top. And then we'll do a couple more on the sides, just to make sure it's even. So we'll pull these off. I hope you guys are ready for a nice weekend. Okay, and one more. There we go. All right, so now when you adhere this to your card, you do want to kind of push it up just a little bit to leave a little bit of extra room down. And I'll show you why in just a minute, okay? All right, so we're going to do that. And then we will take, I'm not going to do the bow yet. I'll wait. So on your scratch piece of white paper that you will have in your kit, you're going to use the Secret C ink. And we are going to stamp, I Miss You Already. And obviously, you can put whatever sentiment you would like, but I decided to use this one. There we go. I really like the fonts in this. I just think they're kind of fun and cute, and yet at the same time, the ones that are a little more serious are just real appropriate. So my trimmer is on the other side of the room, and I really don't want to make you have to wait on me to go get it. So I am just going to freehand this and hope that it comes out halfway straight. There we go. And there. All right. Whoops. We flipped it over accidentally. That's all right. We need to put dimensionals on it anyway. So I am actually going to throw about 3 dimensionals on this. I know that's probably a little overkill, but you'll see why in just a minute. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put this on the front of my card, but part of it is going to be touching the ribbon and part of it will be below it. And so that's why I wanted to use the bigger dimensionals, and because I want them to hit both the ribbon as well as the paper. Okay? And then you'll take your Secret C ribbon and we're going to tie a bow. And I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not as good at tying these kinds of bows as what a lot of other people are. And I don't even know what you call them. But to me, they're almost like a, I don't know. They're like a elongated bow. I don't know what you call them. But it's like when they're a little more long as opposed to being, you know, small and cute. So, all right, let's see, just a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me trim this off. And I want my trim part to be a little bit, at least as long as the loops, and maybe just a little bit longer. So there we go. And then we will use a glue dot to adhere this. All right, and then what I'm going to do is turn this sideways and then put this right here to where it is just kind of straight up and down. So it's almost vertical at that point. So then one of the reasons I wanted to leave some blank space down here is because I want to take my embellishments and put 3 embellishments along the bottom. Just to kind of, because I really didn't want to mess up the picture, but to me, this puts something on there, and yet you don't have all of that other. And so on the inside of this one, we are just going to use our Secret C stamp, and we are going to stamp. I really don't like that you're leaving, but I hope you love where you're going. So we will just use this and kind of stamp this in the middle. There we go. So this is card number 3. Okay. So let me grab all of the cards and show you those again as a recap. And then I'm also going to show you a couple of other things. So here is the second card that we did, the thinking of you, and here's the happy birthday. So I will just kind of put these like this, and that way you can see them. So for the rest of July and all of August, I am trying to earn the Alaska incentive trip. And so because of that, I am offering a sizzling summer special, which means that for an order of $35 or more, I will send you this card kit, which will include enough embellishments and ribbon to make these 3 cards. If your order is $50 or more, once I see your order come through, I will send you an email and ask you which embellishment you would like added to your card kit, and I will order that for you and include with your card kit. You have until next Thursday to order, and so you have, today's Friday, so that's almost a week. If you want to join my email list, you can go to inkycreationsbylinda.com, and you will receive the link to order with me, but you will also receive all of this in an explanation where you can go back to it to see what it said again. But in addition to the $50 where you get the embellishment, if your order is $75 or more, I will send you a ribbon and embellishment of your choice. And for $100 or more, I will also include a stamp set. So those are some ways that you can get more bang for your buck. If you are excited about starting the fact that even though it's 100 degrees outside and you want to start thinking about Christmas, I am doing a Christmas in July retreat to go, and the deadline to sign up for that is the 21st. And so I will show you a sneak peek of the cards that are included in that. And all of that information is on my website at inkycreationsbylinda.com. And you can also get that in email form if you register for my email list. So here's a sneak peek of the cards. These are what I call the basic retreat. So for this one, you get enough to make 2 of each of these cards. So there will be enough to make 10 cards, and it will include envelopes, embellishments, ribbon, a half pack of the designer series paper, as well as a detailed PDF tutorial and envelopes. So you will get enough supplies to make 10 cards, and that is plus the stamp set to stamp everything. So that is the basic. And then there are 2 add-on classes. One of them is using the Bauble blooms. And so this is what these cards look like. Here's, the second one. I'm trying not to get this outside of the frame. Here's the third one. And here is the fourth one, which is a shaker card. That's always fun. And then the other add-on set that we have uses the Jar of Joy. Oh, and in all of these sets, you get enough to make 2 of each card. Plus the same as the first one. Designer series paper, embellishments, ribbon, and PDF tutorial and envelopes. The difference is on the 2 add-on sets, the stamp set is not included. But here is the final one, and it uses the Jar of Joy. And I think one of my cards is actually missing. It's not here. So you're only going to get to see 3 of these. But super cute and fun cards. If you would like to do the Christmas in July, you can get information here or sign up for my email list and I will send that to you. So thank you so much for watching and joining me today for our Facebook Live or watching the replay. And I will see you next week. Have a great weekend.